Hey guys, today you're going to learn, really it's just a review of graphing lines, absolute value equations, and inequalities. So we're going to start with the review of lines. The general form for a line is going to be AX plus BY equals C. And make sure you're filling this into the notes that the sub provided for you. A vertical line goes straight up and down. So this is going to be x equals a number. A horizontal line looks like this, and the equation will just be y equals a number. So in order for it to be a diagonal line, you have to have an x and a y. Slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. Point-slope form is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And then the slope formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. This should all be review, but if it isn't, make sure you commit these formulas to memory. One thing about general or standard form, a, b, and c must be integers, which means no fractions, and then a has to be greater than 0. So your leading coefficient cannot be negative. So we're going to start just by finding slope given 2 points. Remember that the slope formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And if you need to label your points x1, y1, x2, y2, you can label them and then we're just plugging it into the formula. So 5 minus 2 over 3 minus negative 1 is going to be 3 over 4. Why don't you pause the video and try the next two on your own and then hit play when you're ready to check your answers. You can't divide by 0, so for this one, the slope is undefined. Do you know what that looks like on a graph? That's going to be a vertical line. For this one, we get negative 6 over negative 3, or a slope of 2. So hopefully that was a review for you. If not, you can rewind the video and watch those examples again. Parallel lines have the same slope. That's not how you spell slope. Perpendicular lines have slopes that are opposite reciprocals. So opposite means change the sign. Reciprocal means flip the number. So example 2 says, are the two lines parallel, perpendicular, or neither? So if we look at the first one, the slope of line 3 is 1/3. It's not 1/3 x, it's just 1/3. The slope of line 4 is 3. These are reciprocals, but they're not opposite reciprocals because they're both positive. So this would be neither, or you can say simply intersecting. For part B, I can tell that the slope of line 6 is 5/4, but I need to solve this for y to determine the slope of this line. So I'm going to add 10x and then divide by 8. 10 over 8 is 5/4 x plus 3/8. So now the slope of this line is 5/4. They have the same slope, so these lines are parallel. So they have to have the exact same slope in order for the lines to be parallel. Lastly, we're going to have to do some work on line 7 and line 8. So for line 7, to get the slope, I'm going to do negative 6 minus 4 over 1 minus 0 So negative 10 over 1, or negative 10. For line 8, I'm going to add 3x to both sides. Negative 30y equals 3x minus 6. Divide by negative 30, and you get the line y equals negative 1/10 x plus 1/5. So negative 3/30 reduces to negative 1/10. Negative 6 over negative 30 reduces to 1/5. So we have a slope of negative 10. And then I'm realizing that this I should have subtracted here. Hopefully you caught that as you were taking notes. So this will be positive 1/10. Negative 3 divided by negative 30. The slope of this is positive 1/10. So these two lines are perpendicular. So if you're asked if the lines are parallel, perpendicular, or neither, put the lines in slope-intercept form or find the slope and then just compare. Same slope is parallel, opposite reciprocal slopes are perpendicular. If you don't have either of those, then you're just going to say that it's neither. Okay, now we're going to graph. So if you want to pause the video and get a straight edge out, you can use your license or school ID or gift card, or in the back of the room, there are some rulers in the drawer at the bottom of the cabinet. So I have, for A, I'm going to graph a line that goes through the point 2, 3, and with a slope of 5/2. So I need to find the point 2, 3. So go right 2, up 3. And then I'm going to rise 5, run 2. Or you can fall 5 and run 2 the other way. Just make sure if your slope is positive that your line is rising. So now use your straight edge to connect your 3 points. And this is A. For B, it says it goes through the point 2, 1 with 0 slope. So remember, 0 slope means I'm rising 0 and running infinitely many. So a 0 slope is a horizontal line. So use your straight edge, and that's going to be the line. Let me make that a little straighter. This is actually the line y equals 1 if you were asked to write the equation of that. And then lastly, it says through the point negative 2, 3 with an undefined slope, which means I'm going to have a number over 0. So I'm rising infinitely many, but I'm running 0. So an undefined slope is a vertical line. So use your straight edge. And if you were asked to write the equation of this line, that would be x equals negative 2. If you have a question about this, you can ask a neighbor or just rewind the video and watch those examples again. Now, we're going to write the equation given the following information. So pay attention to what you're given. The easiest thing is going to be if you're given the slope, which is m, and you're given the y-intercept, plug it into y equals mx plus b. So if I look at A, this is the y-intercept because x is 0. So I can just go straight to y equals negative 1/9 x plus 2. There's no work required. If I look at C, once I find the slope, this is the y-intercept because x is 0. So for C, my slope is going to be 9 minus 0 over 0 minus negative 6, which is 9 over 6, which is 3/2. So I can just say y equals 3/2 x plus 9. And the reason I can do that is because I am given the y-intercept. If you are not given the y-intercept, then you have to use point slope form, which is what you're going to see in part 2 of this video.